everyone, Jim here. I finally received my Hoplomachus order from Chip Theory Games, and I'm pretty happy to say that it's massive. So let's get right to the unboxing. First thing, this box is huge. It's not quite as long as Roads and Boats, which is currently my longest game. It is as wide, and it is definitely, it's actually wider, but its thickness is the same. So just a couple disclosures. When Chip Theory sent this game to me, I asked them to consolidate the whole order into a couple boxes. So the first game, Lost Cities, and the second game, Rise of Rome, are both in this box, which is the Rise of Rome box. So let's get right into it. I'm going to open it up and we'll see what's inside. Full disclosure, I've actually already opened these boxes to make sure that the content was inside, but my reactions are still going to be pretty much spot on. But here we go. So first thing, the box, there's no art inside, which is okay. A lot of people don't do that. The box is really thick, which is meaning that it's going to be very durable, especially considering this is such a heavy game. Alright, rule books. Pretty straightforward. What I do like is that the content of the box is actually on the front of the rule book, which normally it's on the back. So I like that right away I'm able to find out which content is inside this game. Next we have the various reference cards. Some have the Titans on them, such as this one for the Colosseum. And then there's the ones for the various factions. Xanadu, we have Pompeii, Rome, and I believe we have a few more. These are the Titans. Here we go. Here's the other ones. We have El Dorado, the Pozzoli Arena, and Atlantis. So these are the reference cards. Set them aside. They're pretty thick. They're not super thick. They kind of had that noise to them, so they're not paper thin. I'd say that they're good quality, and they'll last a long time, especially because they're not something that you use constantly while playing. Alright, so first up we have dice in this bag, I believe. I'm not 100% certain. Yes. So this is all the dice, and I do believe these are called the crowd favor tokens, which are just like kind of colorful gems that you might find at any pet supply store or whatever. They're fine. No complaints there. The dice are pretty good quality. I'll get a close up in a minute, but yeah, they're nice. Alright, but let's get to the main things, which are, of course, the insert. So as you can see, the insert is well designed. According to Adam, one of the designers, the co-designers, he said that they created this box and the Lost Cities box to house both games, which is why I had them consolidate the package. So there's the slots for all the chips, and there's these two long ones for the play mats. So, alright. First playmat is this one. So this is the Rise of Rome playmat. One thing I have to note is that they are not only thick, but they're quite colorful. As a collectible card game or living card game player, I have to say that they're about the same thickness as AEG's Doomtown playmats, Doomtown Reloaded. They're pretty thick. Now the one benefit that this mat has over the AEG mats is that it's much more vibrant. One of my biggest problems with the AEG mats is that they are not colorful enough. And I think it's mostly because they're really thick. So there's that mat, and here's this one. And this one is the original game, Lost Cities. playmat. It's very colorful, as you can see. Got a nice little wavy action there. It is, I think, a little less thick than Rise of Rome. I would say that this mat is somewhere between the AEG Doomtown Reloaded thickness and Fantasy Flight's mats that I have for, we have a Game of Thrones here. This one is maybe, yeah, it's thinner. This Game of Thrones mat is thinner. But what I like is that the Chip Theory Games mats are just as colorful and vibrant as the Fantasy Flight ones, even though they're thicker like the AEG ones. So that's one thing I really like right out of the box, the colorful play mats and the thickness of them. It means they're going to last a long time. Now we're going to get into the chips. I'm going to show a few here and then I'll do a close-up. As you can see, there's multiple colors for the various factions. I do believe the orange here is Pompeii, the purple is Rome, the green is going to be Xanadu, blue is Atlantis, and yellow is El Dorado. I'll get a little closer. Black is going to be various characters, such as like titans or criminals, beasts. And then the white ones are tactics. In some cases, I believe crowd favors as well. But mostly, yeah, there's gladiators too for the white ones. So how about, and these are the blood chips, which again, I'll give you a close-up. So how about we cut here and we'll do a close-up and see what's really inside this box. First up is the Lost City tokens. The green stack here is Xanadu. This is an extra city token, as is this one here for Atlantis, which is blue, and El Dorado, which is yellow, but I think it represents gold, which makes sense because of the Lost City being famous for its gold. Now on top is your champion here for all three. This is Garak of Xanadu. Now you'll notice that it's in black and white. That's not a big issue because when this character is on the battle mat, it's not active when it's on this side, but it does become active when it's on this very colorful side. And on here you can see its various stats and the dice that it uses to roll, but I'll get into this when I do a review and overall look at how the game plays. Here is Ferris of Atlantis, and we have the last one here is Zolaire of El Dorado. And again, same thing, black and white on one side, color on the other. Next we have here is a tactic. So tactics help benefit your characters, or they actually hinder the opponent. There's a few in here. And on the back side of each faction, you'll see the logo and the name. So here it says Xanadu, and here is the tactic. And these are drawn out of a bag, so. But let's get to some of the characters. Here's one. This is the Xanadu Tactician. Okay, and we'll look at a few through Atlantis and get to this one, which is very colorful. There you go. Atlantean Archer. So it has different kind of hit dice. If I recall correctly, the black dice has a higher hit rate. Maybe it only has one blank side. The yellow has 2 hits on a 6-sided die. So there's that. The blue one here, if I recall correctly, has 4. I'm not 100% certain, but this is the Eldoradan Demarcus. I probably butchered that. I apologize. So those are those ones. And then we have the white ones over here, which are gladiators. You can see on the front here, Gaius, and then on the back it says CF Gladiator. So these are kind of the opponents you would fight. And then on the end here are the blood tokens. Now these ones are not very thick. I mean, they're thick, but they're not heavy like the rest. So when Chip Theory suggests that you can get the blood marker tokens that are premium, I would recommend it because they're much better feeling. However, I think it still looks good when stacked, and there's no real problem using these red chips as is. I'm happy with them, to be honest. Here's a close-up of the dice. I just wanted to give you a quick look. This is the green one. It has 4 hits, so there's 2 blank sides. So the H stands for hit. Pretty simple. I think it also stands for Hoplomachus, but that's just me. You know, the Carlsons would have to confirm that. Yellow here has 1 and then 2. So 2 hits on this one, side by side. Same here, side by side. The blue has 3, as I had thought. And the black only has 1 blank side, and then 5 possible hits. And these are the crowd favor tokens, which do a tracking of the crowd's favor, and that is on the side of the battle mat, or the arena mat. Okay, so there you have a brief look at the components of Hoplomachus, Rise of Rome, Lost Cities. I mostly was looking at the Lost Cities components. The Rise of Rome pieces are similar. They're different colors. They have different gladiators and champions, and there of course are titans as well. I just wanted you to kind of see an overview of the components and the quality of them. I do have to say that the weight of the chips really does feel good. 11.5 grams, I believe. It really has a lot of weight, and this box is super heavy. I was actually surprised that my coworker was willing to bring it back for me. The blood tokens are significantly lower quality. They're not bad by any means. They're just not the same quality as the heavy character chips and tactic chips. And of course Chip Theory is very upfront about this. They say that if you want the premium blood tokens, it's, you know, premium. It's an add-on that is a luxury item, and I completely agree. I may consider getting them down the line. At this time, I'm going to just play with the current ones that are in there. I do think that maybe those tokens would be better for the stickers that are on the actual gladiator tokens. Maybe there would be less scratching because it's not as heavy. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. Someone else who's probably played the game for many years or like several months could probably answer that question better than me. But at this time I haven't been able to play the game. I will soon and make a video about that. But next up, we're going to show you Hoplomachus Origins. It's a smaller box, standard size. I do believe, without having spoken with the Carlsons, that they went with this standard size instead of that bigger one because the bigger one is harder to ship and therefore more expensive to you, the backer. So this standard size one is welcome, and I imagine that Too Many Bones will come in a similar size box, probably thicker to house all the dice. But I'm going to pop this one open real quick. We'll look at it. From a distance, we're not going to really do a close-up like we did with the other box. Again, this is the rulebook for the add-ons, which I did order because I went all in with this game. Who couldn't, right? Here is the rulebook, and again, down here is the components list, which I totally appreciate. Now, there are a few things in this box that are add-ons that I would like to point out as I go through it because, as I told the Carlsons, I would do that during the video. So first is the staging mat. This is an add-on. It's not standard. So what it does is it allows you to put your gladiators to the side of the battle arena and prepare them for battle. Again, this is a luxury item. It's not necessary. Chip Theory Games labels it as the way to prevent your tokens from ever hitting the table. So they would always be in the play mats. I think it's a smart tactic in my opinion. I like it, and like I said, there's stickers on here that are shiny. They're really good, but I do think that playing it and rubbing it on the tabletop could scratch it over time. Not gonna make the sticker fall off because I think those things are on there pretty well. Maybe they used Gorilla Glue or something, but they're gonna stay on there a long time. These are, I'll get to that in a second. These are the add-ons. This first one here is Blades Edge, and it has 10 chips in it for various purposes. You can find out more about these on Chip Theory Games' website. This one's Army of One. It has 20 tokens, and that is for the Solitude bundle, so I think it helps with solo play for the Lost Cities and Rise of Rome. Next is Beast and Master. This adds more Beast to the game, which is really good for 2vB, 2 versus Beast, or 3vB. So there's more variety for you and your friends to fight. And then the last one here is Legends of the Sand, which I think is the heaviest one. It has 15 chips. Here you go. So my only minor, here we go. Again, the reference sheets like we saw in the other box. And, of course, an ad for Too Many Bones. But, here we go. The only complaint I have about anything I've seen, component quality-wise, are these velvet bags. As you can see, it's really stiff. You have to draw your chips out of it. It's a little small for my hand, which I have big hands. They're not fat by any means, but they're really large, and it's a little hard to get my hand inside of this. Also, it's not that deep, and it feels pretty cheap. It's I don't know, it just feels not as high quality as the rest of the components. So I replaced them with these larger velvet bags from the do-it-yourself store up the street. They were about 50 local currency, which is I guess maybe $1.30 US. But I like this one, it's pretty nice. Again, a minor issue, not anything to make you want to not get this game, because I totally like everything I've seen so far. These are the blue tokens. They're like the blood ones, the premium, not the premium, but the blood tokens. And the last thing that I'm going to get to is what I think is my favorite part so far of the add-ons are the alloy dice. I'm going to give you a close-up of these because I think they're totally worth it. And then the last thing, of course, is the playmats, which are still in the plastic wrap. So here's the first one. That is for El Dorado. This one is for Xanadu. And this one is for Atlantis. Now, the thickness of these, surprisingly to me, seems maybe on par with Fantasy Flight Games playmats, which is awesome because even though they're thinner than the AEG ones, they're a lot easier to roll up, they're easier to manage, they're also lighter in weight, which is necessary when you're lugging a heavy game around or a lot of components. And of course, the colors, as you can see, are very vibrant. So, let's get to the dice. Alright, let's take a look at these dice up close. These are the plastic dice that come in Hoplomachus, Origins, Rise of Rome, and Lost Cities. Pretty standard plastic dice. They're not the cheapest, which is good, but they're still plastic. You can hear them make minimal impact on the playmat when they roll, and that's all fine and dandy. But let's look at these bad boys. These are the premium nickel alloy, I believe they're nickel alloy Hoplomachus dice. You have 2 yellows, 1 black, 1 green, 2 blue. They already sound better when you're rolling them or bouncing them in your hand, and when they hit this playmat, oh, you can hear that thud. It sounds really great, especially when you're rolling a whole handful of them. Okay, so this has been the unboxing of Hoplomachus, Rise of Rome, and Lost Cities. As again, they were consolidated into one box by my request, and Hoplomachus Origins. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm Jim. Until next time, thanks for joining.